when I was exploring more ways about how I can try and reach out to my target market, to my prospects. I've been on LinkedIn for a while, but I really wasn't getting any traction. So this is where I sort of teamed up with John, and I learned a hell of a lot of information from John. So based on what I learned from him and based on what I knew already, it was just this eye-opening, glorious thing that, you know, and if you've seen my presentations in either in networking events or in previous events as well, then you know how passionate I am about LinkedIn. Now, I was always curious to know that, well, if I can get it to work for me, can I get it to work for someone else? Can I put my money where my respective mouth is? So, which is where Daniel comes in. So, for the people, Shell, I know that you're on the Flying Solo Business Forums. Daniel put a post up on there a while ago now. I think it was about a month, 6 weeks, and he's a graphic designer. He's from Perth, and he was struggling to basically get his name out from everyone. He was coming to the point of he was working for agencies, they were cutting back on money, the usual sort of thing, and work was drying up, and he had to get his message out. He wanted to be, you know, go out on his own 2 feet. Now, the thing with Daniel is that he doesn't just do graphic design. He's an all-rounder. So he makes it clear, you know, in his Flying Solo post here, you know, he does everything. He does design, he does web, he does print, but he doesn't have a great network. He's been self-employed for so long that he really's got no idea how to do it. So, you know, and you can see there on the screen that everyone hopefully can see, and I do apologize for this error message to keep coming up. That's not particularly good.
That's why you need a Mac, James. You need Apple products.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, what can I say?
I'm just getting started on you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I can imagine this is going on for another hour. So, you know, and he put down as one of his options that, you know, what do I do? Cold calling. You know, he's been self-employed for so long. What do I do? He's at a bit of a loss. Now, if you look at the forum post, and it is still there, I know I still comment on it. People would put down there, look, try Facebook advertising. Have you tried Elance? Someone even mentioned, can you go and, you know, go and try Fiverr? John, if you don't know what Fiverr is, it's basically for $5, I will do this. And it's like, why the hell would you want to go and say, you know, for $5, I'll give you a logo? I mean, like, you're insane. So, being the kind Englishman, I put a post up and said, look, if I was you, my recommendation would be LinkedIn. And I just basically put down, here it is right in front of you. Oh, you know, this is how I use LinkedIn. You know, I don't have anything to do other with my networking groups and LinkedIn. LinkedIn basically gives me all my work now. So, you know, I don't do any more cold calling. I don't have to deal with gatekeepers. I don't have to deal with decision makers. And, you know, I put a nice little thing down there. If you want to get in, you know, if you want some pointers, feel free, get in touch. I have to say, being a Londoner, when we say, I'm happy to give you some free pointers, get in touch, what that really means is, I'm being nice, please don't abuse my nicety, because, you know, that's how Londoners are. It's like, yeah, sure, we'll help you, but what we really mean is, no, don't contact me. But what he did, he called me. So for an hour, I'm like, okay, you've called me. All right, let's put my money where my mouth is then. So I spoke to him for an hour. And he kindly put a post up, an update to his post based on our conversation. And I'll just read it out to you here. So from Daniel, so I made some changes to my profile, did, not Microsoft error again, did some other things that he suggested. It made perfect sense. And that he had not even thought of using the way LinkedIn, using LinkedIn the way that I use it. And at 8:35 the following morning, he gets a call from a potential new client for a website quote. Turns out he saw him on LinkedIn in a shared group, and because his profile was optimized properly, which is what John's going to show you later on, they ended up on my website. Then he called me. This is exactly how he hoped it would work. He had no idea how it worked. You know, it would basically work that easily. And I have to say, this is exactly what happened to me when my profile was optimized correctly and everything was put in place. Within 24 hours, I had something like 3 or 4 new warm leads, bang, straight away, off the mark. This is how quick and how powerful this is. Now, just a final post here before I switch back to John so we can get started properly, is again, he done another follow-up post because again, people were still putting on their messages of like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you done this? And I think he got to the point of like, guys, can you please just shut up? This is the point. I'm using LinkedIn now. Get it? Here's a graph. Look at my views. You know, from December to January, it's pretty much flatlined. You know, from when I talked to him sort of late January, bang, up. You know, and you know, I really hate when I go into like, you know, when you go searching on websites and you try and find marketing people and you see those sort of like adverts. I earned a gazillion squillion dollars by picking my nose and flicking it at someone's head, and it's just like, what are you talking about? You mean nothing. This works. I can't tell you, stress enough how this works, and it works well, and it works every time. But I'm going to sort of curb my enthusiasm because, trust me, the thing I'm excited. John's going to be on another level. But just to go over his post here, I mean, like, you know, this traffic has generated another 3 to 4 warm leads, you know, 1 new client, and literally, and I think this must be a Kiwi term because I've never heard this before, the first jump in the worm was literally the day after I spoke to James. So, you know, this is really, really powerful, meaningful stuff. So I am, at this point here, going to hand over back to John. So if you want to do your whiz bang stuff,
take
John.
It back.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Everybody see me okay? All right. Can everybody hear me? Just type in the comments. Okay. Yep, good. Because I lost James there. James, are you still with us?
I'm still with you, mate.
All right. You're just catching your breath. So that was a great introduction. I had never heard Daniel's story before. So I know James. And this is actually a picture of me and James. So I'm Yoda, and James is Luke Skywalker. He's my mentee, right? And I literally met James just like I met you guys on a webinar. And as Yoda said to Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, I basically said to James, you know, LinkedIn riches, you will learn. Yes. Okay. That's the first of many bad voiceovers. Just deal with it. The information's going to be really good. James will vouch for me. But
I will vouch for that.
So my point is,
voiceovers.
This is what I really look like. Although I do bear a resemblance to Yoda, now that I think about it. Definitely if you look at the ears. But anyway, my name is John Nemo. I live here in the United States. I'm so glad that you guys are on here. I want to thank James Cooke for bringing everybody in. And what I'm going to talk to you about is LinkedIn Riches, which is a training that I go through and a webinar that I present, which you're on. And it's all about understanding LinkedIn in terms of generating more leads, more clients, and more revenue. Period. End of story. That's what you're going to get out of this. Well, why is that important? Or people will ask me, well, why LinkedIn? Why don't I do other social media channels or cold calling or other things? And it's very simple for me. Why I chose LinkedIn is I make more money and I spend less time doing it. And so I'm going to tell you my story kind of as we get into this, but that's really what it's about for me, is more money and less time doing my job. And what that ends up resulting in is more of this, right? Time with my family. So this is me here in Minnesota. We have over 10,000 lakes in the state that I live in. And so we love being on the water. This is one of my boys posing very nicely for the camera. Here we are playing Star Wars, actually, James. So, you know, that I'm not making this up. I got a bucket on my head. I wouldn't recommend using this as your LinkedIn profile photo, by the way. I'll talk about that more later. Not the most professional, but we've got a dog at home. I've got 3 young boys and a wife, and life is just so busy. I mean, this is what it looks like when we go to the market or the grocery store. You know, boys are literally riding on the cart. So for me, the whole reason I'm sharing all this with you is time is very valuable to me. And I love my job, but I want to be more efficient. I want to make more money in less time, right? And LinkedIn is really helping me realize my dream. So what I want you guys to do right now is tell me what your dream is. Like, tell me what, if you had more time and more money from your job, what would you do, right? Go ahead and type it in the comments because I love to be interactive on these. I don't want to just drone on and on. So for some of you, it might be exercise, right? Or getting out in nature. For other people, it might be travel, right? And so, okay, good. People are writing in. I want to see. Actually have a holiday, says Anne. Okay, Shale says write music. What kind of music? I'm interested in that. I used to play in a band. So a holiday would be wonderful, wouldn't it, Anne? Where would you go, though? That's my question, right? For others of us, It might just be watching movies, right? Enjoying music, whatever it is, being able to spend more time with our families, right? And for me, that's a big thing, just given the stage of life that I'm in. And so the reason I'm telling you all that is LinkedIn is really the way that I've been able to realize that dream, right? And you're seeing it with Daniel, with James, with other people having this incredible success right now with LinkedIn. It's amazing. So let's get into it, right? I want to just share a couple more quick stories of people that have gone through the training that you're about to go through to help you understand how quickly and how effectively you can apply what you're going to learn. This was a guy, Tyler, here in the United States, who literally within the first 48 hours got 20 new leads. He got a new client. That's the smiley face I highlighted. Was just blown away, right? Immediately. This is my good friend, James Cooke, who you just heard, right? This was an email I got after I started talking to him like I was Yoda. 2 warm leads, right away. I would have paid tons of that for telemarketing. So, I mean, it really does work. Alistair is saying, I would love to do more photography, earn loads of money, and have more time to spend with my daughter and write and play music. Wow. You're a very creative guy. I love it. That sounds
actually
good.
Alistair, I spoke to on the phone as well. So I'm glad, Alistair, you're here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Glad you made it. Well, let's keep going. And I want to help you understand how to get these dreams achieved with LinkedIn. And probably the biggest thing is you really have to flip what you know about LinkedIn, however little or however much, upside down. Okay, so that's what I'm really going to help you understand. And of course, the first question I get, and by the way, all Americans dress like this. I just want you guys to know right now, this is what we all wear to work. Just kidding. We're not all nerds. But the biggest question I get when I do LinkedIn training or presentations online or in person is, well, will this really work in my niche? I'm a real estate agent, or I am a, software developer, or whatever it might be, a business owner. Will it work? I've got a really small, unique group of people that I appeal to. Oh, I need to pause. James, the Australians say niche or niche?
Niche.
Niche. Oh, good. My people. Glory. When I go around the United States, people are always like, it's niche. It's niche. I'm like, no, it's niche.
Seriously, if you say niche around me, I'll slap you. It's niche. Look, my wife is a linguist. If she heard me say niche, she'd probably kick me somewhere rather where it hurts. But
all right, anyway, good. Well, I'm among friends, and because I say niche, I can't help it. So anyway, I want to tell you my story quickly, right? So I had a tiny niche. What I was trying to do on LinkedIn when I started all this was sell marketing services to debt collection agencies here in the United States. And there are literally only about 5,000 or 6,000 of these companies around. So I had a very small pool, right? Out of hundreds of millions of businesses and people, I only had 5,000 prospects to go after, and I was doing it all on LinkedIn. Okay, so it's about as small of a niche as you can get. But here is what happened. In 90 days on LinkedIn, only going after that one little niche of debt collection agencies, I made over $135,000 in revenue by myself, sitting in my house on my computer, using LinkedIn and using the techniques that I'm going to show you. Okay, so this was really the genesis of the training that you're seeing tonight, was what I learned during that 3-month period when I did over 6 figures in revenue in a tiny niche that most people thought, well, there's no way. And what I really understood was the power of LinkedIn and what it's become today. Over 2 million of these professional groups that I'm going to talk about a lot later on, almost 300 million members worldwide, including 5 million in Australia. I'm going to show you some stats on that later. It's an amazing, powerful network. I don't think people understand just how powerful it is. And so during this webinar, I'm going to give you 5 key takeaways. So first, some of you may have seen this with James on a smaller scale, but how to instantly rank #1 on LinkedIn. I don't care what niche you're in, okay? Number 2, how to avoid what I call this fatal marketing mistake that almost everyone makes on LinkedIn. This is a huge, huge thing that we need to make sure that you're not doing. Third would be how to really harness the power of LinkedIn groups. And I call this the money module because it's like those game shows. I don't know if you have them in Australia, but in the United States, we have these goofy television game shows where they'll be like in a booth and money will be swirling around like a tornado and they're trying to grab it as fast as they can. That's what LinkedIn groups can be like. That's where I made all my money. That's where I do make all my money on LinkedIn, is pulling it out of these groups. Okay, fourth is going to be how to instantly locate and engage you're ready to buy prospects. You think about how we spend so much time and money trying to find leads and spending money on lists and things like that. I'm going to show you how to do all that for free and how to do it all instantaneously. And then finally, fifth, I'm going to show you my system, my secret sauce, how you can do 6 figures in any niche on LinkedIn with this system I'm going to teach you over the next 40 minutes or so. So again, my name's John Nemo, and I started here in the United States with as a reporter. I have a degree from university that doesn't exist anymore, print journalism. We used to have these things called newspapers. I don't know if you guys still have them. They're not very common in the United States anymore. But I started out as a newspaper reporter, working for the Associated Press and other, entities and doing journalism and writing. Then I got into public relations and I worked for some different trade associations. And eventually then I wanted to go out on my own and start my own business. I had this bright idea of, hey, I want to be my own guy. I want to do my own thing, right? And so I decided to go out on my own. I'm just going to check. We got some, people are saying we're breaking up. Anthony's saying, can you guys all hear me? I'll pause for a minute here and make sure folks can hear me. Can everybody hear me okay? Should I keep going? Okay, good. Okay, everybody can hear.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Anthony, hopefully that's, we'll get that resolved for you, my friend. Okay, Anthony, you can hear me now. It's like one of those cell phone commercials. Can you hear me now? Okay, so I wanted to get out on my own, start my own business. I had been working for the man too long. I decided I wanted to chase my passion, my creativity. So I opened Nemo Media Group, which was a marketing agency. And the first thing everybody told me was, John, you need clients. I'm like, clients? What? Right? You stop. What are you doing? You can't just quit your day job and, start a marketing company without a business plan, without clients. And what are you going to do? Right? So, I obviously hit the ground running and I knew networking was going to be the key. That's how you get business, is from people, right? We do business with people we know and we like, and relationships. And I also knew from talking to different mentors and things, I needed a niche. I couldn't just try to be a marketing agency that served everybody. So what I did was I said, okay, one of the places I had worked was a place called ACA International, and they were a trade association based here in the US for debt collection agencies. And I had done public relations for them. So I was like, hey, this is an industry, it's a niche. Nobody's really selling marketing services to these guys. I'm going to try to go and sell them marketing services. And I knew that the first thing I had to do was get a box of my favorite snack food, Super Pretzels. Okay, because I don't know about you guys, but when I get stuck at work or have a very hard problem, I need my go-to snack, my go-to food. So I'm going to pause the webinar. This is very, very important. I need you to put in the comments right now your favorite snack food at work. What do you just have to have when you're stuck? It's a rough day, right? Is it coffee? Is it something else? For me, it's these salty Super Pretzels. Do you guys have those in Australia, James?
I have to admit, mate, I haven't seen them.
Come on! What kind of place? Is that a third world country? How can you not have Super Pretzels, James? They're ready in seconds. Yeah, I'm going to ship a box over.
It's probably a polite way of saying I'd actually rather eat my left arm. But, if Super Pretzels work for you, mate, then, good on you.
And people are writing in. Anthony is a chocolate fan. Shale, chocolate. Ann is going latte. Coffee, triple espresso, says Alistair. All right, we got some highly caffeinated Aussies. How about you, James? What do you go with?
No, I'm a coffee man, mate. If I want to get down, then it's a double espresso. So I'm not as hardcore as Alistair, but double espresso, bang, let's go. Let's crack on.
I love it. Chili chocolate, says Anthony. Wow, that's controversial. I never heard of that.
That's good.
Wow. Well, I am very disappointed in Australia as a country. The capitalists with Super Pretzels need to get on it. Anyway, I digress. Okay. As I was building my business, as I was starting from scratch, trying to get clients, I knew I didn't want to build it the way that everybody told me I had to, because I hate doing cold calls, right? I hate getting them. I hate making them. I hate being interrupted. I hate annoying people. I don't think they're effective. So I didn't want to do cold calls. I didn't want to do a bunch of traveling because I have little kids, and I didn't want to go around to different trade shows and exhibitions around the United States or the world for that matter and set up booths and hand out cards. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on advertisements because I didn't have any money, right? I had just started from scratch building this business. And what I discovered was I knew a lot about social media. I had done a lot of that in my previous jobs. I knew that this was where business was heading. So my decision ended up being, what network do I want to choose? Because as we all know, there's so many different networks: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. What do I use? LinkedIn, right? Where do I go with this? How do I build my business? And I decided to go all in on LinkedIn. And I'm going to explain to you why you're going to want to do the same thing if you haven't already. So here's why you want to go on LinkedIn. First of all, it's where your audience is. Okay, the sole focus of LinkedIn is professional. There are no dancing cat videos on LinkedIn, at least not yet, right? So until James gets around, because don't you have some cats?
Yes, I've got 3 of them.
Okay, so maybe you can start it, James. You can start the trend of dumb cat videos on LinkedIn and ruin the whole network. What do you say?
Yeah, leave it to me. I will destroy you, LinkedIn. I shall destroy you.
Okay, but my point here is, the sole focus on LinkedIn is professional. People are there to do a couple of things: find a job, find someone to hire to fill a job, or make a deal, right? Do business. And LinkedIn, as a result, is growing like crazy. 2 new members every second, almost 300 million members now in 200 countries. And the statistics, the studies that are coming out are incredible. It's 4 times better for B2B sales conversions, 3 times more leads generated than Facebook. It's amazing. And in Australia, right, if you want to localize this, you guys are up to over 5 million members, okay? Oh, I got another lost the audio. Can everybody hear me okay? Put in the comments if you can still hear me.
I can still hear you.
Yes. Okay. And James is hearing me. Okay, great. Okay. Still with me. All right. So LinkedIn has got over 5 million members in Australia as of the end of last year. Even in New Zealand, we don't want to leave out our Kiwi friends, over 1 million members. What I found really interesting was Gollum from Lord of the Rings actually has a profile. I'm just joking. He doesn't. But how cool would it be if Gollum had a LinkedIn profile? If you guys know that movie, Lord of the Rings, that series. I know, isn't the director, Peter Jackson, a Kiwi? James, help me.
That's correct. He
All
is.
right.
He is indeed.
I could see Gollum's LinkedIn profile right now. Job description: find the precious, right? Like, I love the interesting facts about the New Zealand members, right? What was it? 391 of them have a profession that is some way related to rugby. You guys love rugby. I don't understand it, but you probably don't understand American football either, so we're even. But again, my point in showing you guys these statistics are, LinkedIn is exploding worldwide. Not only in the United States, not only in Europe and Asia, but in Australia, in New Zealand. The growth is incredible. And your audience is on there. And I'm going to show you what I call now my face melting stat. Now, this is a throwback. Can anybody name this movie? Put in the comments if you remember this movie. This is kind of a tough one because you had to be around in the early 1980s to remember this. James, you probably know it. Don't tell him, James.
Oh, I'm zipped.
All right, let's see. We got some comments coming in. Let's see if anybody. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes. Okay,
there we go.
Good. You guys are with me. Thank God. I was a little worried the American culture might bomb. But, okay, so this is a penultimate scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is a classic adventure movie, Indiana Jones. The Nazis have taken the Ark of the Covenant. They open it, and their faces, like, literally start melting. And so I call this my face melting stat, because when you see this, your face may actually melt and puddle up on your keyboard. I mean, it is just incredible when you look at this stat. This is a global study, so this is not just the United States. This was a worldwide study about traffic to corporate websites. What they found was LinkedIn now accounts for 64% of all the people coming to your corporate website from social media channels. Okay, so let me say that again, because it is a huge deal. 64% of the people coming to your business, your corporate website from a social media channel are coming from LinkedIn. So if you think about that, it is like Pac-Man, right? Look at the graph. It's like Pac-Man gobbling up everybody else, all the dots. This is where our audience is. This is why you want to be on LinkedIn doing business. It's just a no-brainer as far as how big and how powerful LinkedIn has become as a business network to do business. And what I saw in my own experience, going back to my story, was exactly that happening. So again, I started my new business, Nemo Media Group. I made it all a niche approach where I was going to only sell marketing services to debt collectors in the United States just to begin with. And I saw my traffic go through the roof once I started leveraging LinkedIn with the tips I'm going to show you here as we go through the presentation. You can see all my traffic was coming from LinkedIn. And the best part about it was quality website traffic. So what I mean by that was the average person coming to my website from LinkedIn looked at over 7 pages of content in one visit. They spent 3.5 minutes on the website, which is crazy, right? That's like web surfing in dog years. Like nobody comes to a corporate business website and looks through 7 pages of content or spends 3.5 minutes on it. Maybe if you're in New Zealand and love rugby, you spend 5 minutes on a rugby website. But I mean, no, this was crazy. This was a debt collection marketing site. So I knew I had something. I was getting comments on my blog posts like this one. I love your blog. I've been searching high and low for this. This is exactly what I needed, right? And I was like with my people, glory, right? I mean, my audience had found me. It was like fish in a barrel, as we say here in the United States. It was so easy to sell to these guys. And one of the keys behind this was understanding how to optimize my profile, as James talked about at the very beginning, and also how to rank number 1 on LinkedIn in any niche. So it doesn't matter what niche you want to rank number 1 in. I'm going to show you right now how to do it. So in debt collection, if you're part of my network on LinkedIn, meaning first, second, or third party connection of mine, which is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, I show up number 1 when you search for debt collection. If you search LinkedIn marketing consultant, I'm ranking number 2, right? The only guy beating me is Oliver, who works at LinkedIn, right? He's a marketing guy at LinkedIn, so it's hard to beat him. Okay, but even better are the people who have gone through this LinkedIn Riches training that you're going through. Steve, Tom, Daphne, Chris, all ranking on the first page of results for their specific industry keyword, healthcare receivables, which is a type of debt collection for medical clinics, hospitals, things like that. Or I had another one, Steve wanted to be number 1 in healthcare billing because he sells healthcare billing solutions and software. 225,000 searches, different people on LinkedIn showing up as that results. He's number 1. So think about the value to your business if you could be number 1. This is like ranking number 1 when someone goes into Google and searches, real estate agent Perth, or business developer Sydney, or, whatever it might be, software company, whatever it is. This is the power of it. And I want to show you now how it works. So we're going to go live. Hang on one sec. We're going to go pull up LinkedIn. And this better work, James, or I'll be a little embarrassed, but let's hope it still works, right?
That's why my mic is purely on mute, mate. No pressure.
So I just searched debt collection, okay, on LinkedIn, and there I am, number 1 with a bullet. I love the fact that number 2, Kim went through my training, Dan went through my training, Tyler. Hey, look at this guy. Look at this bloke. Hey, it's James Cooke. Is that a pretty good Londoner accent? What do you think?
Move along, John.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you how this works, right? So here's Tyler, who went through my training. He's showing up number 1 on debt collection in his niche, his industry. See how all these phrases are highlighted in yellow, right? Debt collection, debt collection, debt collection. And then you look down at his summary text. See the pattern here? Debt collection, debt collection, debt collection, debt collection. It's a very simple trick and a very simple secret. What you need to do is what I call keyword stuffing. And what I mean by that is take the search terms that your clients would use on Google to find you. So would they Google, real estate sales Sydney? Would they Google software developer or, Perth? Would they Google whatever it might be, Gollum, Precious, New Zealand, whatever it is, okay? Whatever they're looking for and finding you, stuff those words into your profile. Look at how often he uses the term debt collection, debt collection, debt collection, right? Because guess what? He wants people who type in debt collection here in LinkedIn search engine to find him. And so it's a very simple way to get your profile ranking number 1. Again, it's just a beautiful trick. Now, the other element of this that I don't always explain because I don't have time is you have to be connected to a lot of people. Notice how he's got over 500 connections. Part of this strategy, or as our famous former president George W. Bush used to say, strategery. We're going to smoke them out. We're going to find those prospects on LinkedIn. We're going to smoke them out. Okay. I like to have fun. I'm sorry. James is laughing somewhere. All right. Listen.
I am seriously laughing.
All right. I love it. Okay. So that is my first big tip here. That's my first takeaway. See how easy that is, you guys? It's amazing how easy it is to get ranking number 1 on this. Okay, so let's keep moving. So number 2, this is one of my favorite areas. How to avoid this fatal marketing mistake that almost everybody's making with LinkedIn. Okay, and again, in order to understand this, you have to go back and you have to look at LinkedIn a little bit differently, even upside down. When LinkedIn first started back in 2003, it was pretty much just a simple job website. If you remember, if you were on it in the early days, you basically posted a resume and, oh, hopefully somebody will find me and offer me a job, or I'll find someone who has a good looking resume and hire them. That was it. That was all LinkedIn did in the early days. The problem with that is we're here 11 years later, and LinkedIn has completely transformed itself from a simple little job posting website to what I would argue is the most powerful lead generation tool in the business world right now as far as online. But too many people are still using LinkedIn as a job posting site, right? Look at the left image. They're making it all about themselves. Think about this. If you have a cocktail party or a social gathering, what if some guy walked in with a bullhorn and just started shouting, "Hey, my name's James Cooke. I'm a master debt collection agent. I want everybody here to know that I bill at this hourly rate, and I want everyone here to give me money and do business," right? And it's all about me, right? Nobody would want to talk to him. In fact, I know for a fact James actually does do that. He brings bullhorns everywhere he goes. No, you don't. But that would be pretty cool if you did, James.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Way too many people's LinkedIn profile is all about me, right? I'm John Nemo. I do this. I do that. I went to university here. I won this award. Here's the problem. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. You know what they care about? They care about themselves, right? One of my favorite authors is a guy named Dale Carnegie, who wrote this great book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he had this amazing quote that said, your prospects, your audience, your clients, they only care about themselves, morning, noon, and dinner, or supper, whatever he called it back in the 1930s when he wrote it. Okay. And another more modern example of this is a great movie from Disney called Wreck-It Ralph. And what you're looking at is this character from it named Fix-It Felix. If you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph, it's a classic. It's a throwback to the 1980s video games. This was when I first met James, and he was throwing in all the names like Defender and Galaga and Pac-Man. I'm like, okay, James is good. He's cool. So feel free right now to put in the comments your favorite 1980s video games. I want to know. I want to see if my people are still with me. But as we're doing that, right, Fix-It Felix is a character in this film who has a golden hammer. And what he does is he literally goes around and solves people's problems. He fixes their problems. Oh, good. We're getting some comments. Let's see what people are saying for video games. Asteroids. Wonderful. Shale.
Oh, classic.
Alistair's going with Galaga. Pong, says Anne. You're going way back with me. Wow. Xevios. I haven't heard of that one. Wow. Okay. You guys are going deep on me with the 80s. I love it. All right. So again, Fix-It Felix, the whole idea of your LinkedIn profile is, flipping it around so that it's really about what problems that you solve for your clients or for your audience. Or as another great American statesman and orator from the 1980s once said, if you got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Now check out the moves while my DJ revolves it. Come on, everybody snap at your keyboards. I want you physically snapping your fingers. Oh, thank you, James. I hear you, brother.
That's about as much as you're going to get.
Vanilla Ice. I don't know if he made it over to Australia and New Zealand in the 80s, but he was huge here. Oh, but he's right. Whether you go Fix-It Felix, Dale Carnegie, Vanilla Ice, what I'm trying to teach you is the same thing. You need to make your LinkedIn profile what I call client-facing. Let me show you an example of that. Okay, so I start my profile when I'm marketing to debt collection agencies as I help your collection agency increase revenue, win new clients, enhance and protect its reputation. Notice nowhere in there do I say, I'm John Nemo and I do marketing videos and I design websites and I do blah, blah. Nobody cares, right? You know what debt collectors care about? How do I make more money? How do I get more clients? How do I get a better reputation with the news media? Okay, same thing with my LinkedIn training part of my profile. Here's what I do. I teach people how to use LinkedIn to make money. I teach people how to use LinkedIn to generate sales leads, get clients, increase revenue. What I'm teaching you right now. Here's how I do it. Da, 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 da. Again, what you want to do with your profile is take away the whole part about I'm, James, or I'm John, and here's what I'm good at, and make it about here's how I help you make more money. I'm a real estate agent who helps people find their dream home in less than 30 days. I am a software developer who provides custom solutions that clients rave about, whatever it might be. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud as a marketing guy. And another tip I want you to notice here on the screen is see how I'm using all capital letters for some of these phrases? What I do, how I do it. LinkedIn does not let you format text. You can't bold it or italicize it, things like that. So what I do is use all capital letters, and I try to use certain phrases to catch people's attention, right? How I make clients more money, how I sell more homes than any realtor in Sydney, how I create apps that become #1 bestsellers in the iTunes store. Whatever it is that you do that makes you different, okay? That's what I want you to focus on. You can even say why clients love me, or how we make clients more money and reduce risk. Whatever it might be, use those capital letters, use those phrases to kind of call out certain things that you want to highlight in your profile. There's another great example from another one of my favorite movies, Gladiator, okay, starring everyone's favorite Kiwi/Australian Russell Crowe. I know his whole story. He was born in New Zealand, lived in Australia, went back to New Zealand, back to Australia. Make up your mind, Russell. Pick a country. Anyway, okay, we're talking about this great scene from Gladiator where Commodus, this evil emperor of Rome, you can see the politicians in the background are saying, don't bring back the gladiator games. It's just pure blood sport, men fighting to the death in the arena, stabbing each other. And Commodus just says, I know Rome. I know my audience. I know what they want. They're the mob. They want the gladiator games. I know what they want, and I'm going to give them what they want, and they'll love me for it, right? That's kind of the gist of this scene and what he's talking about. And that's what I want you to remember with your LinkedIn profile. Give your clients, your ideal audience, what they want, and they will love you for it, okay? And I can't go with a gladiator reference and not mention Russell Crowe, because this is another important part about LinkedIn. This is one of my favorite scenes. I'll show it to you in a second. Hopefully the video will play, where he literally just got done, chopping a couple guys' heads off in the arena, and the crowd is like in this hushed silence. And Russell Crowe's character is like, are you not entertained? Is this not what you came for? And my point here is you need to entertain people, right? You've probably noticed by now, I'm being very animated. I'm excited. I'm having fun. I'm telling jokes. That's my personality. I'm trying to entertain you and inform you. And so what I call it is infotainment, right? You need to entertain people and engage with them and give them the information they're looking for. Remember, LinkedIn is a social network. The most effective way to make money on LinkedIn and get leads is to be a human being, okay? And do one-on-one kind of socialized, humanized marketing. I'm going to show you more about that later. But first, let's take a lesson from Mr. Crowe.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
So I want you to remember an important lesson from this webinar right now. The #1 way to start growing your business is to create a gladiator arena, bring a crowd, start cutting people's arms off. No, sorry, I'm just joking. Hopefully if you're taking notes, you're not writing that down. The kids in school that would just write down everything the teacher said? I love when teachers would just start saying crazy stuff to see if they'd still write it down. That's why I did that, sorry. Okay, no, don't cut anybody's arms off, right, James? We're not here to hurt anyone.
Not today, anyway.
James is the heavy. He's the strong man. Okay, listen. It's called Info-Tainment. I want you to inform people with your LinkedIn content and your profile, but I want you to entertain them. All of you on this webinar have a personality. I'm positive of that. All of you are human beings, right? The robots haven't taken over yet, okay? So use that. I think one of the key things that I see people failing at in business is they're afraid to be a human being. Especially in the industry that I started in, the debt collection agencies, people were so stiff and so nervous and so regulated that when I would come in and just be a person, they would immediately be like, oh, cool, I can let my guard down too and laugh and be fun, and that's how I do business really well. Any great salesman will tell you that. So again, that's just driving that point home about really informing and entertaining, engaging people. So now I'm going to get into another really meaty, important area. Okay, this is what I call the money module, the LinkedIn groups. This is how you're going to create nonstop leads and get a ton of clients and a revenue. And it's by leveraging LinkedIn groups. There's over 2 million of them. There's literally a group for every profession you can think of. I don't care if it's veterinarians, real estate agents, debt collectors, all of them have professional groups. And all those professional groups have thousands of members. Well, the first step that I like to teach people is to create your own group. Okay, your own group on LinkedIn. It's very simple to set up. The nice thing about creating your own group is it's all branded and controlled, so you can put your logo in and kind of have your imagery and things like that. But notice the title of this group. I didn't name the group after myself, right? I didn't say John Nemo or Nemo Media Group. Instead, I made the title what I call client facing, right? What's in it for me if I join your group, dude, right? What's in it for me? What's in it is debt collection marketing, more revenue, more clients. What you're going to get if you join this group is an understanding of how to market your specific agency to get more money and more clients, which we all want. See how insanely specific that is? See how niche it is? I do the same thing with my LinkedIn group that I started recently with LinkedIn marketing tips, right? I called it Turn Your Connections into Cash, or I've tried it other ways. You can try names like, leveraging in for lead generation, things like that. The point of it is when you name your group, you can have your branding, your logo in those areas where you can see the visuals, but I want you to name your group with a benefit, right? A value or a benefit to the people looking at it. So that if I was just sitting there again, what's in it for me? I don't care about you. Oh, if you're going to teach me as a real estate agent how to sell houses in 30 days or less, or 5 days or less or whatever, then I might join that group, see what the tips are, see if it's valuable. Now, the reason I love having, here's another name, leveraging in for generation. You can't put LinkedIn in the group titles, by the way. So that's why it's not in there. They don't allow you to do that. But what I love about building my own LinkedIn group is that I get to stock it with all my best prospects, senior level people, CEOs, directors, owners, managers, right? I don't have to go through any gatekeepers. When I stock my LinkedIn groups, I know exactly who I want to sell to. I want to sell to CEOs and presidents at these collection agencies. So you can see the people in my group, guess what? President, CEO, right? I'm not wasting time. I've got an instant group of people, kind of a captive audience in my group who are reading my posts, following me. And I love this example, this analogy of when we do little carnival games for our kids. This is our youngest son, Bailey, where we do the whole thing like, oh, here's your fishing pond, find a fish, get a duck, right? Pull a little duck out. He can't lose, right? It's stocked. He can't lose. And we played the fishing game, right? And he pulls out a new Thomas the Tank Engine lunchbox. Can't lose. By the way, that's James' favorite cartoon, Thomas the Tank Engine. Watches it every day, right, James?
Religiously.
Sorry. When you have a kid who's as obsessed as my son is, I know all the Thomas stuff. I started by an Englishman, too. So
it was.
Yeah, the Reverend W.A. Audrey. So
and narrated by Ringo Starr.
Oh, yes, Ringo. Oh, thanks a lot, James. Really appreciate your country coming through with that. So anyway, the point of it is, this is what your LinkedIn group is like. It's like your own fishing pond that you stock with these prospects, but instead of pulling out Thomas the Tank Engine lunchboxes or the little engine that could, whatever, you're pulling out clients and deals, okay? And I'm flying through this, you guys. There's so much more I want to tell you. I don't have time to get through it all in an hour, but I want to get to another key point, okay, about LinkedIn groups and about finding and engaging prospects. So again, this is how to instantly find these prospects, build these lists. This is one of my best tips. So if you've been sleeping so far, if there's drool on the keyboard, wake up. This is a really important one, okay? So LinkedIn, probably the number one thing you can do on here is find tons of qualified leads. And the way you do that, the most efficient, quick way, is by joining groups on LinkedIn where your audience is hanging out. So let's say you want to sell, medical supplies to veterinarians, or you want to sell office supplies to, I don't know, small business owners, whatever it is, right? Whatever kind of, business it is, you want to find people in these neighborhoods around Sydney who are looking to move, or you want to find people relocating, or whatever it might be. There's all these different groups, over 2 million groups, and all of them are filled with professionals gathered around that common cause. So what I did in my case was I joined as many professional groups as I could that were filled with debt collection agency executives. Okay. And what I did once I got accepted into these groups was I clicked on the members page, as you can see right there. And there's about 6,000 members in this one group. And what I did was LinkedIn lets you go into the members page and it lets you filter the search. So not only do I get to pull up a membership list of all these debt collectors, I can filter it by job title. I can filter it by what part of the country they live in, what city, anything where they've worked. And so what I'm able to do is instantly build leads. I have this list in front of me of debt collection agency CEOs. Look at that. Boom. CEO, 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 CEO. And these are all the people who are going to buy my product. They're the ones that are going to approve the budget for a new website or a marketing video or a new logo or whatever else I try to sell. And what I do is I go through, let me back up, and I go to the member page of the LinkedIn group where all these guys are hanging out. I filter my search. So if you're regional, you can filter it by a city or a region. If it's a certain job title that hey, I want to sell to people who are CEOs or presidents or whatever, you'll get these instant lists. And then what you do is you connect with them all, right? And you start networking and you start funneling them into your group and building a relationship. Okay, as I'm going to show you in the next step. So think about this though for a second. How powerful is it to be able to instantly, at zero cost, build a list of your ideal prospects, right? I mean, that's amazing. I hope you guys see how powerful LinkedIn is for this. This is how I made $135,000 in 90 days, was being able to hyper target like this. So once you find all your leads, you want to connect, obviously, right? And so the key on LinkedIn is really understanding personalized invites. Okay. What I mean by that is not just doing the generic, I'd like to add you to my network on LinkedIn, the default. That's a terrible thing. If you do that, I'm going to call James and have him come over to your place of business and slap you across the face, because that is a huge mistake. Okay, don't do that. James, you'll do it, won't you?
It's a bit harsh, but fair.
Well, spoken like a true debt collector. All right. So I'm going to give you an example of a guy, Martin, who lives in the United States, right? And so he's a guy that I know, so I can use him as an example. I found him on one of those lead lists that I made inside a group. Was like, okay, I want to connect with this guy. And so LinkedIn basically gives me a treasure trove of personal information about him. So I know where he went to college or university, if you prefer. I don't know what you guys call it there, where he went to school, okay? And in America, we're very, very passionate about where we went to college and our teams and things like that. I can see honors and awards that he's won. I can see organizations that he volunteers at that are important to him. I can even see his interests. I know that he loves golf and jogging and tennis and University of Alabama sports teams. I even know when his birthday is. I know that he's married. Now, if you think about this from a sales perspective, think about how we normally have to do this. You have to meet someone at a networking event or at a mixer. You have to start asking them questions. Oh, what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? Where are you from? Are you married? Do you have kids? Where'd you go to school? And then you have to mentally take all these notes and then remember the next day, as you're groggy and maybe hungover from drinking too much at the mixer, you have to remember, oh, now when I email that person, was he the golf guy? Yeah, I'm going to mention something about golf, because as you know, the best way to engage people in sales is to talk about what they love, their hobbies, their interests, their passions. The beautiful thing about LinkedIn is it did it all for us, right? It's setting up on a silver platter your prospects for you. It's telling you, hey, this is what this prospect is interested in. This is what their hobbies are. This is where they live. This is what they do. It might feel a little bit, creepy, like Big Brother, or like you're stalking people, but that's not the point. The point is you can instantly build this credibility with people, likability with people. You can engage them, right? And going back to Dale Carnegie and that famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, we want to do business with people we know, we like, and we trust. And the quickest way to do that online, to build those three elements, know, like, and trust, is through a personalized invitation, right? I'm going to get to know you. I know you like golf and jogging. Well, hey, so do I. Let's talk about that. Or what's your favorite, tennis match of all time? Or what, hey, remember Pat Cash, Wimbledon? See, I'm a big sports guy, so I can go back. I still remember Pat Cash won Wimbledon. He was an Australian, and I think it was 87 or 86. I was just a kid. My favorite, though, was there was some crazy Australian fan in the crowd that had a sign that said, cash is better than a check, because he beat Ivan Lendl, who was from Czechoslovakia. See, now if I was inviting you to connect and I knew you're a Pat Cash fan, we're going to hit it off and talk, right? So let me give you a more personal example and story about that right now. So this is an example of how one YouTube video got me a $10,000 marketing contract, okay? This is not a joke. So what I did was exactly what I just showed you above. I went onto one of these profiles and I looked around and said, okay, what's this guy interested in? Oh, okay, I see he went to college in the United States at the University of Pittsburgh, okay, in Pennsylvania. And I knew one of my passions is sports. And so I knew, oh, okay, judging by the years that this guy went to college at Pittsburgh, they had this famous basketball team, they had this famous football team. I bet he remembers that because he was a student there. And I know Americans love to talk about their college sports. And so when I invited him to connect on LinkedIn, I said, hey, I see you went to the University of Pittsburgh. Do you remember this famous, basketball play when the guy dunked and the glass backboard blew up? And immediately he accepted my invitation to connect. And he immediately wrote back and said, oh man, I can't believe the memories you brought back. That's amazing. Yeah, let's connect. Hey, what do you do again? Oh, debt collection marketing? Yeah. We're looking for someone to help us with that. Can we have a call next week? Yeah, I'm interested. And I replied back on LinkedIn. This all happened within a matter of about 10 minutes. So I replied back on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm free next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Here's my marketing materials, and my rates and things like that. And by the way, I bet you remember this. And then I sent him this video.
It was just a simple steal or a loose ball. I picked it up. And, on a 3-on-1, I think one of the things you learn as a point guard is you look and you choose your better finisher.
I know if you gave it to him, I was going to, dunk it. Forwards ahead. Lanes on the other wing. Right. Oh! Yeah! Send it in, Jerome!
Mike finished it.
Send it in, Jerome. Okay, this was one of the most famous sporting moments in the United States during the 1980s. I mean, people will still remember that. Sports fans, college basketball fans, if you say send it in, Jerome, they'll immediately know what they're talking about. This guy, so I sent him that LinkedIn message and included a link to this little YouTube video. He went crazy. He wrote me back right away and said, I was at that game. The whole arena was shaking. It was incredible. Oh man, you brought back the memories. That was 20 years ago and I still remember like it was yesterday. Hey, can't wait to talk to you. Send me more materials, right? The next call, got the sales call, closed them, got a $10,000 marketing contract out of it. Okay, that quick, that simple. Because what did I do? Know, like, and trust. Okay, and so I came back to him months later when I was kind of auditing my clients and saying, hey, why did you choose us? What made you want to use us as a marketing agency? And when I got to this guy, I said, what was it? Was it my marketing materials, my website? And he goes, no, it was Send It In, Jerome. That's why I chose you. That's why I wanted you, was because you immediately, I just felt like we hit it off. You were a good guy. I could, get to like you right away. And I loved how you kind of personalized your approach to me. I knew that you would do that with social media for us. And, your results have been great. You have a great product. So that's been fine too. But again, it's just the idea of, remember, we're doing business with people, and again, I can't emphasize enough the power of personalizing your approach on LinkedIn. Okay. So that's just one example. So what you do, kind of the cycle here, is when you get people accepting your invites, you funnel them into your group, your LinkedIn group. And the reason that's important is you want to stock this with all your best prospects, because your LinkedIn group is where you get to share your best information. Okay, and that's important. You can't just put sales pitches in your LinkedIn group. You can't just go in and say, hey, hire me, give me money, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to share valuable content. And I'm going to show you more about that in a moment. But what ends up happening is, because of LinkedIn and the way that you can leverage it, how I'm showing you, is you get all your fish in a barrel. It literally means you can just find all your prospects in one place, connect with them, engage them. So let me show you a little bit of lead generation and how this works, right? So number one is obviously getting found, optimizing your profile, ranking number one in your industry, your niche. I showed you that already. The next thing is creating and sharing really good content, okay? And one of the things about that is you can't go in and just do blatant sales pitches, like I just said. So in this case, what I did was I went into a LinkedIn group with debt collection agency owners, and I wanted to sell them. I wanted to sell video marketing services. That was my goal. So I didn't go into the group and say, hey, who needs a video done for their agency to promote you? I want to make videos and I'll charge you this much money. I didn't do that, right? Instead, I did what I call reverse engineering. I basically took my sales pitch and reverse engineered it into a LinkedIn blog post. And what it said was, hey, here's 3 reasons video marketing is really important for you specifically, right? Your industry, collection agencies, 1, 2, 3. And I put solid data in there to help them understand, oh, it'll do this. It'll humanize my business. It'll help for search engine optimization because Google owns YouTube and that'll help people find me on YouTube. Hey, it'll help, face-to-face, networking. People will feel like they know me. I'll get an emotional reaction, blah, 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 blah. So I put all that in and then I close it with kind of a call to action where I basically say, hey, just to get things started, I'm going to share a sample video of what I've done for a client, but I would love to see more videos in the comments. So if your collection agency has done this, put videos in the comments. Let's share and get ideas from each other. So it wasn't a very hard, strong sales pitch. It was more like, hey, this is a really important thing. Are you doing it? Why or why not? Here's why you should be doing it. Here's an example of what it can look like if you do one. And what happened in the first 24 hours after I posted this was in the public comments, people started putting in their phone numbers, right? This guy, Ty, hey, would you be able to estimate an approximate cost for something similar to the video you shared? Here, please respond privately or give me a call. He puts his phone number in the public comments on LinkedIn, right? And another guy, please give me a call to talk about what your company has to offer and to help us get started. A third guy, right? My name is Michael. I'm the owner of this collection agency. I would love to touch base and talk about services you can provide. Here's my phone number. I mean, this is crazy. This is like walking into the bar or the pub and all the beautiful people rushing forward and thrusting their phone number into your hand, right? And wanting to be your friend. This is what happens to James Cooke every weekend when he goes out pub crawling, right, James?
Possibly. Maybe not to the same extent there, John.
Right. But this is what it would feel like to be Brad Pitt or something, right? Some Russell Crowe walking in, everyone's like, "Oh, I want to make a fuss over you." This is what happens.
If it was Russell Crowe, they would probably want to punch him.
Well, that too. He may be picking fights, but that's beside the point. This is crazy, right? Do you understand this? People are putting their public phone numbers in the comments. And that's what I mean about reverse engineering your content. Because if you're able to share your expertise, your knowledge, the value that you bring to your audience, the clients that want to use you, if you're able to do that in a way where people can read it and see it and go, wow, that guy really knows his stuff about real estate, or he really knows his stuff about web design, those are great tips. They're going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to want to hire you directly and give you money to do it for them, or they're going to want to pay attention to you and follow you and listen to you and send their friends to you for advice or business. So that's the key element with LinkedIn and attracting people with great content. So again, as we finish up, really understanding LinkedIn and engaging, and I could go way more in depth on this. I don't have time, but again, commenting, posting, sharing, one-on-one messaging is a great method. Doing the invitations, I showed you how to do that, how to personalize them, and then converting people, right? Moving them off of LinkedIn and onto your website or onto a phone call or an email. The beauty of LinkedIn is you now have the ability and the excuse even to call people and network, right? So I could even say, I could call James up out of the blue and say, hey, James, this is John Nemo. We're in the debt collection marketing group. I just wanted to give you a phone call. We're connected on LinkedIn. I loved your comment about websites. I noticed you said in there that you were looking for a new designer. We happen to do that, so I just wanted to connect with you real quick. Did you want to have a cup of coffee? I could hear more about what you do and what you're looking for on a website, or could I send you some designs? Would that be okay? Oh, yeah, great. Like there, I just did a warm phone call, right? It's not a cold call anymore. There's context. James knows who I am. We've connected on LinkedIn. Now I can email him directly or phone call, and I don't have to go through a secretary, or he doesn't have to say, who the heck is this guy? So it's an amazing, amazing network for those types of things. All right, so the final thing, how to get the secret sauce, how to literally do 6 figures in any niche using this system that I'm teaching you. Okay, so before I do that, I need to ask you a couple questions. So get your commenting fingers ready, okay? Have I delivered some great value on this webinar? Yes or no? Please put that in the comments. I need to know. I'm very insecure. And I see we've got questions. I'll get to those. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Wonderful. People are saying yes. Okay, I feel better about myself. Are you going to walk away from this webinar with immediate ways to start leveraging LinkedIn like you haven't before? Yes or no? Go ahead and put that in the comments. Okay, I'm seeing yes, yes, of course, yes. Great, great stuff. Tweaking as we speak. Tweaking my profile, Alistair says. I love it. All right. Because today, what I just showed you in the last 40 minutes or whatever is literally the tip of the iceberg. Okay. Now, do you guys want to see the rest? Do you want to learn about the rest? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Okay. I'm seeing people saying, of course, this is awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Of course, yes. Okay, good. Now that I've got you guys all salivating like Pavlov's dogs, I'm going to tell you how to get more training, how to do more of this when you're ready to take it to the next level. I've developed an online training course called LinkedIn Riches. Okay, it's linkedinriches.com. And what I do is I literally walk you through my system so that you understand in a few minutes a day how to generate leads and get clients. So let me explain to you really quick what you get out of this training, the value and the benefits. The biggest thing, right? There's three huge things, right? I'm going to teach you specifically with LinkedIn Riches how to attract those ideal kind of ready to buy clients and customers. Second, how to generate basically a nonstop stream of leads in mere minutes a day. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 minutes a day. It's that drilled down. It's that simple, right? I'm going to basically take all the time I've spent learning it and boil it down for you, okay? And also how to create instant context, credibility, that likability, so that you can sell people without having to sell, right? The know, the like, the trust. Those are the main benefits that you're going to get out of this. And I'm sorry, you're not going to have to do cold calls anymore. You're not going to have to do expensive trade shows. You're not going to have to buy advertisements. You're not going to sit there pounding your head into the wall thinking, how can I get some leads? Because this is going to just rock your world. Like James talked about at the beginning with himself, with Daniel. It's amazing. The bottom line is with this training, the extended training, LinkedIn Riches, you're going to get more sales, more money, and more freedom to do what you love, right? Or as another Australian famously said, freedom, right? Even though I know he was born in New York and lived in Australia, we love Mel Gibson. Great movie, Gladiator, by the way. Okay, for me, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I do what I'm doing, because I get more freedom, more time with my family. And I know for you, you guys shared in the beginning, you all have different dreams, whether it's writing music, doing a holiday, spending time with your families, whatever it is. And I want you to be able to achieve that. And I know that it's possible with LinkedIn. And James is going to tell you the same thing. So I want to show you really quickly what you get with the LinkedIn Riches premium training that I'm talking about right now. So I have 4 different video modules. And what I do in each module is I literally walk you through step by step how to take action, how to optimize your profile, how to funnel people to your group, how to specifically do invites, all these different things, way more in depth, how to create content, all these different things. And you can see I have modules, so you don't have to take notes. You literally can just pause the video, open up a new window, optimize whatever area you're supposed to optimize, come back, start playing the video again. And you guys can tell by now I have a lot of personality, so I make the videos very fun, very entertaining. James will vouch for that. It's not your typical training course, is it, James? It's a lot of fun.
It is superb. I mean, like, I've obviously gone through John's course to the point now where I'm now teaching people, or in fact, basically preaching the values of LinkedIn Riches with my own site. So, you know, if you have the opportunity, seriously, you need to do this.
Thank you, man. So part of it too, I love these testimonials that I'm going to show you really quick. This guy is John Morgan. He's a best-selling marketer and author here in the United States, very popular. And the reason I chose him to evaluate the course, I actually paid him quite a bit of money to evaluate this because he hates LinkedIn. He thought it was the dumbest thing ever. He used to make jokes about it in his presentations. And I said to him, I challenged him. I said, I've done this with LinkedIn. I've had all this success. I think you're missing the boat. I'm going to pay you to go through this course, a lot of money, and I want your honest appraisal if you still agree with that or not. It was almost like the Pepsi challenge or whatever from those commercials, which drink tastes better. And he gave this amazing testimonial that basically said, you made me a believer. I can't believe what I'm missing with LinkedIn. So that's from a national marketing expert in the United States. Even better is just with everyday business owners. So this is Tom Backel. He lives in Dallas, Texas, here in the United States. Said, he got, I think it was in 3 months, he got 30 new clients. Okay. And he was only spending probably 30 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week doing this system. He still was running his whole business, but he was generating so many leads in such a short amount of time that even though he was putting in, a couple hours a week, he was getting 10 new clients a month this way. And now that frees him up to live his dream. He loves cooking. He's a huge foodie, right? So he's able to have more time to do that because he's not in the office all day cold calling, banging his head against the wall. One of my favorite stories is the world famous James Cooke, right? Where he emailed me right after he had gone through this training, had 2 warm leads in 24 hours. This is amazing. I would have spent hundreds of dollars on this. And I learned a fun thing about James is that he loves this sport, ski surfing. And that's actually James. That's his real hair right there. See the resemblance?
Yeah, just slightly more hair.
I would love to see you do that, by the way, James. I think that's crazy. But that's
I'll get a YouTube video for you.
But I want you to ask yourself a couple questions as you think about this, right? How much money do you already spend on lead generation? And how much time do you already spend on this? How frustrated are you right now? I know a lot of us, I was very frustrated until I discovered this system, right? And if you're ready for something different, if you're ready for something better, and you want to invest in yourself and your business, then I want to work with you. I want you to grab this premium training. Because, right, like it or not, this is how we do business in 2014. This is my youngest, Bailey, on the iPhone. Think about how much time we spend online doing business, networking, interacting. I'm basically trying to hand you a roadmap and a key, a shortcut directly to closing deals, generating leads, and getting prospects on LinkedIn. And that's the whole point of this. And again, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I think as James eloquently put it, it's not like flicking boogers against the wall and money comes in, right? Like you actually have to work. Okay. The good news is if you go through this training, I boil it down so that you literally in 30 minutes a day can generate 10 leads, 15 leads. If you do 60 minutes a day, you're going to generate 30, 40 leads. If you do 2 hours a day, 50, 100 leads. Okay. The more time you put in, the more successful you're going to be. So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's not hard. It's not hard, as I'm showing you. Anybody can do this. That's the beauty of it. So today's price, I'm going to tell you it's a special offer because I love Australia. I love James. I normally sell this for $997 US, and I'm doing it today for $595 US dollars. One-time payment gets you lifetime access to LinkedIn Riches, gets you all the training modules, all the transcripts. It gets you access inside to me via email, so you can ask me questions, help you, customize things. All of that's included for that price today. And so I know the first thing people sometimes say is, wow, that's a lot. That costs a lot. That, I don't know about that. That's kind of expensive, right? Well, what I want to say is, what are you worth? Are you worth $595? Do you believe in yourself? Do you invest in your business? How much do you already spend on advertisements? How much time do you spend on cold calls, or do your employees spend? Think about using this for your sales team, okay? What I want you to think about is this quote from Muhammad Ali, this famous American boxer from back in the day, right? He says, it's a lack of faith that makes people afraid of meeting challenges. And I believed in myself, right? And he termed himself the greatest, and he was for a long time. And so I want you to make that leap of faith with me today. I want you to do this, okay? You deserve this. I want you to do it right now and grab this training, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that in 1 second. But first, I got to tell you, if you grab this today, you're going to get even more, okay? And this is added on bonuses that are absolutely free, but only if you're going to grab this today, or I'll say the next 24 hours, okay? I have all this extra content I put in for free as a bonus for you guys for getting LinkedIn. And what it is it's actually 5 separate video modules, one-on-one trainings with, in some cases, world-renowned experts. So one is Lee Odin, who literally speaks around the world on search engine optimization. If you want to get to page 1 on Google for your business and get found online, he's the guy. Okay, I got a whole interview with him, like an hour-long interview, giving all his best tips and tricks and resources. That's included totally free with LinkedIn Riches. I've got another one, TV news coverage, right? So I've got a TV news director talking about, hey, if you want to get positive coverage, doesn't matter what market you're in, what country you're in, it all works the same. It's a storytelling business. He's going to show you how to get TV news coverage. Same with radio, right? A lot of us love to do talk radio interviews, talk about our business, be the expert, right? Be the tips person. You can do international interviews. I've done interviews in London on BBC Radio. Right, that's not a very good London accent, James. I'll work on that. But okay, we all have done that. We want to do it. Here's how to get on air. That's included for free. David Meerman Scott, who's also, again, a world-renowned expert, talking about newsjacking, which is a hot new trend where you literally can take the breaking news of the day and kind of tactfully, not in a bad way, but in a positive way, kind of insert yourself into the story or add yourself. Think about that, how they're always like, we want to bring in our expert on aviation to talk about such and such event, or we want to bring in our expert on real estate to talk about today's developments. How do you think those guys get those gigs, right? This is how, newsjacking. And I teach you how to do that, or David Meerman Scott teaches you. Totally free bonus. Again, crisis PR tips. So if you have an issue where you're getting sued or your employees do something crazy, what do, right? This is John Austin. He's worked with some of the biggest companies in the United States with crisis control and crisis management. There's a whole module on that. Again, all these modules have transcripts. They're all completely free, thrown in. So all of that is added in as a bonus. And now I want to just explain the value of this course. So the training modules that I showed you, as in-depth as they are, easily $5,000. When I do all-day trainings or seminars or things like that, it's thousands of dollars for companies. I'm taking all that knowledge and boiling it into those 4 video modules for you for $595. Okay, the bonus modules, easily worth a few $1,000s, given who these experts are, given the topics and the trainings and things like that. So it's really a $7,500 value if you're actually pricing it at market, scale. And again, you're going to get that for $595. And I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to do this. And I'm going to make it foolproof. I'm going to do a 30-day money-back guarantee. And what I mean by that is you will get instant access as soon as you sign up for LinkedIn Riches to everything, to all the training modules, to all the bonus videos. You get to email me questions. You get the whole system for 30 days. If you don't get leads, if you're not happy, whatever it might be, if you let me know within 30 days, it didn't work, I want my money back, no problem. No questions asked. I've never had a refund. So that's why I offer that. And I could probably make it 100 days. I've never had a refund because the system works. I mean, as you've seen in these testimonials. So I want to take the time now to send people over to the special offer page. It's linkedinriches.com and then /Australia. So you can get it there. I'm going to hang out for a bit and answer some questions. Alistair wants a free set of steak knives. I'll see if I can throw that in. Okay.
Good on you.
All right. And I'm going to put in, as people are going over, I'm going to put in the chat as well, the address. So actually, I'm going to answer Alistair's great question. I will see if I can throw in linkedinriches.com/Australia. So I'm going to send that to everybody. You should see that pop into the questions. So feel free to go over and grab it. And I'm serious. James will attest to it. It's an amazing program. I make it a lot of fun. You are going to, most importantly, generate a ton of leads and revenue out of this. And so with that in mind, I want to, this is not sending. Well, anywho, you guys can see it on the screen, right? linkedinriches.com/Australia. So open up a new window. You can go to the sign up page. And then I want to answer some questions while we've got people here, because I knew we had some questions earlier. And if you have more questions, feel free to enter them in the comments. And James and I will try to answer them for you. So, okay. How do you funnel people in, Anthony asked, with your group? Do they have to join? Yes. So what you do, Anthony, and I go through this in depth in the LinkedIn Riches training, is kind of the life cycle or the system with this is I invite someone to connect. And once they connect, then I immediately send them an invitation to join my group. And they have to then click, okay, I want to join the group, right? That makes sense. And then what happens is then they're in my group, and there's all kinds of things I show you about how to leverage the group. I can't get into it all here, but you can, blast message everyone, and you can do one-on-one things. It's an amazing tool, the LinkedIn groups. So Alistair says, I've joined several groups in my target market and posted an introduction, but still no leads. Right. And so what I would say, Alistair, for that, right, is you're in the right groups and you posted an introduction, but part of it is people may not have seen it, or your introduction, it all depends on how it's worded, right? And you're going to be better off spending that time inviting those people to connect one-on-one and doing some of those personalized invitations. And I show you in the training, again, how to do that and how to do it efficiently so you can get through 10, 20, 30 invites in 20 minutes, right? And then, again, funnel them into your group. Because there's a system you can have in place where you can basically create templates or notes that'll say, okay, here's my invite that I'm going to use with group members, and then, get them funneled over, all those types of things. Now, one of the questions I always get, and I'm sure it's in here, I just haven't seen it yet. Eric is saying, great presentation. Thank you. Well, thank you, Eric. We appreciate that. How about James Cooke? Let's give it up for James Cooke, everybody. Clap in the comments for him.
Hey, I done nothing other than just laugh and maybe add the odd sarcastic comment.
Well, James, do you want to add anything before we log off?
Well, what I will say to everyone is, look, I can, add my own testimony to this. Obviously, John has shown you some screenshots of what I've said. Now, I am particularly fastidious. I'm not ever going to stick my name to something that doesn't work. That's it. I don't care what it is. I don't care how well I know you. And I've known John probably only, 2 or 3 months, maybe, John?
Right.
Is that around about there? But this system works. Now, one thing I will stress to everyone, and John alluded to this before, that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you're in it to, thinking, oh yeah, I'll just do this and I'll be rich and happy days, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to work for it. But the price of this, for me, to what I paid out for the initial training back in the day with John, has saved me money tenfold. With the amount of advertising that I've done with industry magazines, crumple mail, direct flyers, cold calling campaigns, and I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on cold calling campaigns, and my ROI, my return on investment, was quite frankly, abysmal. With the strategies that I've learned from John and that I've put on myself, then I've made probably at least 300, 400 leads.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's just amazing stuff. So I don't know what else I can say other than if I was in your position right now, I would be saying, shut up, James, and tell me where I can go and pay.
You hear that all the time. Shut up, James. Hey, I'm going to throw in something else. James doesn't even know about this, so he's going to be very surprised. So it's linkedinriches.com/Australia, but I want to show you something cool. I have a brand new book coming out, a companion book called LinkedIn Riches. And if you buy this course through us, through James and me, I am going to throw it in for free. Before anyone else gets a copy publicly, let me show you the new book. You guys are going to love this. Let's see here. Here it is. Everybody see that? That's a brand new book coming out, and it's a companion to the videos. I will throw that in completely free. I'll give you a signed copy if you sign up and get the course. I'm going to be selling that obviously later this spring when it launches, but I'm very, very excited about the content. It's the perfect companion for the course. So I'll throw that in too. James, we're trying to make an offer they can't refuse. I feel like the Godfather.
Yeah, I feel like, where's my book?
All right. Well, I know I've kept people a little bit over the time. I want to thank you all. I will send a follow-up email out to everyone on the webinar with a link for the purchase. If you have any questions, feel free to reply to me. A lot of you know James. Feel free to ask him questions. He's got an amazing website as well. Some of you may be watching this as a replay later on James's website. So definitely check it out. He's about as sharp as it gets with LinkedIn as well. I've been blown away by what he's doing. So thank you guys all. Thank you, James. We're going to close out the webinar now. If you have any questions, follow up with us on email. And thanks again.